Hey guys, and welcome back. In a previous tutorial I showed you how to make the mini creeper face, and I mentioned that in a future tutorial I'd be showing you how to make the entire mini creeper head. So that's what this tutorial is for. And of course the entire model looks like this. And next time I'll be showing you how to make the entire body for the creeper so that you have a completed model. And for that reason you have this little opening in the bottom so that the body can be inserted into the head. But if you don't plan on making the body and you just want to make the head, then I would recommend filling up this gap so that the base of the face of the creeper doesn't start to sink inwards. And you don't have to worry about it if you're making the body, because once the body's inserted, then that'll keep the base from going inwards and it'll keep everything nice and sturdy. So now to make this, you're going to need approximately 134 green cubes and a total of 10 black cubes. And actually it's going to be a little less than 138 if you decide to leave the gap in here, but that's entirely up to you. So if you want to find out how to make the face, which is this part over here, then you can check the tutorial that I already made, and there should be a link either up here or in the description of the video. And you can check that out if you haven't already. And I also have a tutorial on how to make the Sonobe cube, so how to make each individual cube. And again, if you want to find out how to make that, you can check my previous tutorial. And again, there should be a link to it somewhere up here and in the description below. So now I'm going to start by disassembling this entire model here, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. Okay, so for this particular model, you're going to be working with two types of cubes. One is this one here, which has two open flaps, and the next one is going to be this one over here, which has four open flaps. And then when you combine a series of these, you end up with a completed row. So now your first row is going to consist of a total of 6 pieces, and you're going to start with one with two side flaps open, then move on to another one with two side flaps open. And you want to insert it like this. Insert one flap into the base where these two flaps are opened, and then insert it into the top. So it should look like this. Then your next unit is going to alternate, and it's going to have 4 flaps, but it's going to be inserted in like this once again. Back to 2 flaps, facing down, insert it in, top and bottom. Move on to the 4 flaps, insert it in, and finally finish it off with the 2 flap. Insert that in. And that's really all there's to it. You should now have your completed first row, which should now look like this. Now for the second row, we're actually going to be starting with this unit here. So it's the one with 4 flaps, and you're going to hold it up like this. Next you're going to take the same unit and you're going to insert it in sideways. Like this. Take this, insert it in like that. And you just want to continue this pattern all the way down. So take your 4 unit, insert it in sideways. Next, have it facing up. And right now we have 5 units. Now for the last one, you're only going to use the one with 2 flaps because it's the last piece. And the reason you're not using 4 is because there's no cube connecting to this side, so it's not necessary. So it should now look like this. And now to connect it together, basically you would take both of these units, just like this, and you would sort of shimmy them in place so that the flaps are on top of each of the cubes, like that. Same thing on the side, and then start inserting each of the flaps into the adjacent cube. And you sort of want to go in order, so go with the first one, then insert the second one, and work your way all the way down. Do the same thing on the other side. Insert each of the flaps into the adjacent cube in order. And once you've inserted them all in, you should get this shape here. Now you need to make a total of 6 of these rows in exactly the same way we made these. And once you have 4 more, just put them together once again the same way, so shimmy it into place. Like that. And then insert them in. And now once you have a completed set with a row of 6, you're going to move on to your next set, which is going to be this one here. And once again, I did mention before that if you're going to just be making the head, then you don't want to leave a gap. But since you are making a body for it, you'll basically need to make 4 rows instead of 6. And at the end here, you're going to insert 2 pieces like this, and do the same thing on this side. So you would take 2 cubes. First you would insert it into this one, like that. Then insert another into this end here. Just like this. And you should end up with the shape. And you basically want to make 2 of these. And then you're ready to assemble the entire head. Now if you'll notice, you have these flaps sticking out here. And those flaps are necessary for the assembly process. So now I'll show you which flaps to open and how to put it together. So first we'll put this one aside. And we'll go back to this one here. Okay, so you want to start with your first unit here. And as you can see, I've taken out 3 flaps here. So you want to start by taking out the side flap of the first cube on the left side, the 3rd cube, as well as the 5th cube. And on the right side, you want to take out the flap of the 2nd cube, 4th cube, and 6th cube. And the flap I'm talking about is this one over here. So that's the sidemost flap. And it should now look like this. Okay, so once you've opened out these flaps on this cube, you want to do the exact same thing on this next unit here. So open out the first on the left side. There we go. The 1st, 3rd, and 5th, and open up the 5th one. So 1st, 3rd, and 5th, and on this side it's going to be the 2nd, 4th, and 6th cube. So open out the 2nd, and then just open out the 4th and the 6th, and then it's ready to assemble. So what you want to do now is you just want to take this unit here, flip it over, just like this, and you want to shimmy it around so that the flaps are overlapping on top of the cubes, just like that. Do the same thing here, shimmy it a bit, just move it left and right until the cubes or the flaps of the cubes are overlapping. And if any of the flaps get stuck, just pull them out. And then just insert each flap into the adjacent cube. And that should be your first row. And you want to repeat those steps on this surface here, as well as on your next unit, which is this one. And now you're going to be opening the 2nd, 4th, and 6th on the left side, and the 1st, 3rd, and 5th on the right side, like this. Same thing with this surface here, and then place them one on top of the other. And finally do the same thing with the last layer, which is the face of the creeper. So anyway, I'll show you how to do that once I've gone ahead and inserted all these flaps inside. Okay, so we're going to start by taking out the first from this one here. Then take out the 3rd and 5th. Then on the side here, go for the 2nd, 4th, and 6th. Just like that. Then take your next unit here, and you want to turn it and place it on top. And again, shimmy the layers so that the flaps end up sitting on the cube. And if any of the flaps get stuck, just pull them out. Do the same thing on this side. Shimmy it into place. Pull out any flaps that get stuck. And then just put them together. So start inserting it in. So I'll go ahead and insert all these in and I'll be right back. Okay, now on this layer, open out the 2nd, 4th, and 6th. And on the side, open out the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And do the same thing on the face of the creeper, which is going to be the last layer. And then turn it over. Place it on top. Shimmy it from side to side. And then connect the layers. So again, I'll just go ahead and connect all these off screen and I'll be right back. Now once you've put all those together, I would highly recommend placing a few heavy books on top for a few hours at least, so that all the cubes can settle into place, and that'll help it stay together much better. But it's not necessary, so if you don't want to, you don't have to do that. And this should be your finished model. And again, if you don't want to make the body of the creeper, then I wouldn't keep this hole here. But if you do want to make the body, which I'll show you in a separate tutorial, then go ahead and leave this gap. And this gap here is 2 cubes deep. So hopefully the tutorial wasn't too confusing. If you liked it, don't forget to rate and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.